Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the 137th episode of the Philly Blitz Pod. I'm your host, Piero Baptiste, joined by my co-host, Mr. Marquell Fripp Owens. Brother, how you doing?
Rubber lubber dub dub to those who celebrate. It is I, the one and only Mark Wilfred Owens, and these are the days I live for. They stress me all Sunday or Monday or Thursday. Hell, we had a Friday game, got a Saturday game coming up. Whatever day we seem to play football. Joe Webb can go to hell. There's no Tuesday games, but whatever day they seem to stress me out. And then here we are, a few days before kick, and here I am, back ready for a preview pod and doing all my research. Like, so how does this team match up with the Eagles? What do they do? So it's an interesting situation, man.
Yeah, you talk about, how they stress you out and everything like that, and how kind of depressed we all were on the recap pod on Tuesday.
Except
I
Parth.
think well, except Parthia. I think I'm back. I think I'm back, man. I read that Mike Silver article on the Athletic. Well, he talked with Jeff Lurie. I guess it was after the game on Monday, and it gave me a lot of confidence. Like maybe kind of poo pooing a lot of the concerns that fans and media and everybody has, but the issues, while there are some structural issues to the like overall offense, most of them can just be boiled down to execution based problems, right? And we've talked about it. Like you miss a throw here, late on a throw there, miss a block, penalties, the drops. And I think the I guess proverbial saving grace for all of this is all of these things are correctable, right? It's playing fundamentally sound football, something that Nick Sirianni harps on, right? In 2023, that's been kind of the I don't want to call it a measuring stick, but that's been kind of the common, I guess, thing that's been brought up here with the whole collapse and everything like that. But I think the difference between that and where we are now, those issues were kind of systemic, right? Like we've talked about it a ton, right? Like you say it a lot, but there was no adults in the room with that coaching staff, right? Like they fired Sean Desai in the middle of the season and promoted Matt Patricia, who then tried to legit change the overall like scheme of the defense in the middle of the season, right?
Not too much on Matty Pencils. We got a national
but
championship to win.
but I say all that to say like none of that is happening this year, right? Like Vic has the defense humming, right? It isn't a collapse on both ends, right? He has the defense playing at a championship level. They didn't have that in 2023. And I also think, like Part talked about, on Tuesday, I don't think in 2023 they had the emotional makeup that this team does, right?
Yeah,
Like it's not the same from a culture standpoint. Like if you listen to guys like Saquon, Smitty, BG, hell, Jalen, Nick, all of them talk after that game. When it wasn't really defiance, but like it's not 2023, right? Like it's not the same at all. Like I said, the mental makeup is totally different, right? Like they weren't dejected, they weren't sad, and Nick has talked about it a ton, how much they can kind of pull from what they went through in that year and kind of the overall like embarrassment that they felt. There are guys on this team that like lived through that, they went through that, right? And the difference this year is sort of the I guess knowledge or institutional knowledge of how to kind of like go through that, kind of wade off that. Because again, like I said, they've been through it, right? Like, and I think a lot of people like I know it's Philadelphia, it's a pressure cooker, it's you know, break the glass, sound the alarms, all of that. But this is still the same organization that lifted the Lombardi trophy earlier this year, right? Like we're still in the same calendar year. Like the team is still relatively the same. Like that team is still somewhere in there. It's just again, play fundamentally sound football, execute, do the little things, and they'll get right back to it.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I feel like I said this bit earlier in the season as we watched the team struggle. And I said that why I felt like this wasn't like 2023 because this team had the heart of a champion. And they weren't champions back then. They may have been to a Super Bowl, but I felt like the weight of them losing that game, how they lost that game, the weight of we got to be great, we got to go back and win, and all that. A lot of it just weighed down on them, and it turned into, like you said, a pressure cooker. Versus now, like you just acknowledged, 9 months ago, this team was lifting up that Lombardi Trophy. It's very fresh in their head, and despite how often they try to tell you, new year, new We're not worried about that, all that cool stuff. It's
They're human.
fresh. Exactly. It's fresh to all of us. So with that being said, I think that kind of like you said, the way they approach it emotionally, the way they approach it mentally is completely different from 2023 because that pressure isn't there. I mean, yeah, you got the pressure that you ultimately put on yourself and that some of the public may put on you. Can you repeat? How good are you a football team? This, that, and the third. But the pressure, like, remember, like you guys remember how I was talking about Jaden Hurts leading up to that Super Bowl in February. I literally mentioned the name that shall not be mentioned. I said if he didn't win that game, he just might turn into that guy. And it's like that game, what that did, Jalen Hurts will tell you himself that game changed him mentally, losing that first Super Bowl. So them having the opportunity that, as the old Alex say, get the monkey off their back. It I feel like it did something to them. So it allows you to play a bit more free. Now, ultimately, it doesn't look like that when you look at the product they're putting on the field. But at the same time, like when you listen to the players talk, they'll be the first to tell you, like, this isn't because of no pressure we putting on ourselves. We just not doing our job right. And if we
I
can,
mean, Smitty flat out said it. There's nothing that other teams are. We're beating ourselves. Like we'll have a good play here. We'll do something good here, and then we'll take 10 steps backwards.
yeah. But that's been like I said last part, man. It's a 50-50 split between the players and the coaching in terms of we can't really blame one side. When the coaches stink and the players out there trying their best, it doesn't work. And then when the coaches are good and the players out there missing blocks and getting penalties, it just makes you guys look even worse. So ultimately, it's just the team seems to be fundamentally broken. Can it be fixed? I believe so. You got about a month left of football to get it together before these games actively start to weigh on your shoulders. That's
Yeah,
if you
and
do
I
your job right, because the Cowboys are a game and a half back.
and before we get into the matchup itself, but I think that's kind of the saving grace for all of this, right? Like they have time to get it right, and the next 5 games that they play, it's kind of what you would want, right? Like it's a chance if you it's a chance they can get right.
Listen, you would like to think that, but when you got a team that is typically quarterbacked by Geno Smith, who now has an injury, so the backup has to play, and the Eagles are the opponent, what could possibly go wrong, right?
Well, okay, let's get into injuries and then get into previewing the matchup. So for the Eagles, Jalen Carter, he had the procedure done on both of his shoulders. Of course, he has not practiced this week. Landon Dickerson, he suffered a calf injury on Monday night. He did not practice today, Thursday, but I think it was also a rest day for him.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Johnson, I know he's working his way back from the Liz Frank strain. I think that's what they're calling it. But he did not practice, so he's probably going to be out. Fred Johnson, he'll get the start again. Fred Johnson, actually, he was limited today on Thursday with an ankle injury. But elsewhere, Zach Bond, Charlie Hewlett, and Cameron Williams were all full goals in practice today. For the Raiders, and it's a lengthy injury report. Linebacker, I did not know they were calling him a linebacker, but linebacker Jamal Adams, he did not practice on
Yeah,
Wednesday.
where have
He
you been
was
for the last 3 years?
I mean, I know it was a joke, like he's a linebacker in a safety's body, but like they actually like
Yeah, they
changed him
moved
to
in Seattle last year, I believe it was, or 2 years ago.
huh. Hmm,
Two
okay.
years ago, it
But
was 2 years ago because Pete was still there.
okay, but he was limited Thursday today with a knee injury. Jeremy Chen starting safety. He did not practice Wednesday. He was limited with the back injury. Max Crosby, he did not practice on Wednesday. He was limited today on Thursday with the knee and shoulder injury. Backup tight end Michael Mayer, he was limited Wednesday, full go today with an ankle. Starting tackle Colton Miller, he was limited Wednesday and Thursday with an ankle. Dante Thornton Jr., he has a concussion. He was limited on Wednesday, but a full go on Thursday. Raheem Mostert, backup running back, he did not have a designation on Wednesday, but he did not practice Thursday. He's dealing with the knee. And then the big one here, Geno Smith. He has, I guess this is right shoulder and back injury. He has not practiced all week. He's probably
It's
not going to play.
already been
Yeah,
reported that Kenny's getting a start.
yeah. So Kenny Pickett will get the start. Hi, old friend. But that's it for injuries. Where you want to start on previewing the matchup? I'm gonna go Eagles offense, Raiders defense.
Yeah, we can start there.
All right. So just to give a bit of a backdrop on this Raiders defense, well, just the Raiders in general, they've lost 11 of 12 games. I just said Kenny Pickett is expected to start. They've struggled a lot on offense this year. They've been probably worse than the Eagles. Just extremely anemic. Defensively, I think for them it started pretty good, right? They held the Patriots 13 points, held the Chargers to just 20, the Titans to 10, and the Broncos, who are number one in the AFC, to 10 points. But it's kind of progressively gotten worse over the course of the season. And I think it's particularly because of how bad the offense has been. Like they've been really, really bad. The offense can't sustain drives, so their defense has been on the field a lot. So just to give a bit of a backdrop on this defense, 21st in EPA per play, 24th in success rate, 26th in EPA per pass. Surprisingly, they've been kind of good against the run, 7th in EPA per run. They major in zone coverage. They play the second least amount of man in the league. It's predominantly cover three, most in the league. They don't blitz that much. They attempt to disguise. It's kind of around league average, 35%. But yeah, that's kind of what I got for their defense.
Yeah, this defense is an interesting bunch. Kind of like a what you see is what you saw type of group. Like you said, they really don't really do much of any disguising. I was surprised to see exactly how much cover three they played at 47%.
It's the most in the league.
It's like, my goodness, they live in cover
But, I
three.
mean, it's a Pete Carroll defense. You kind of should you be shocked?
Yeah, but Pete Carroll has also been able to show the evolution of the defense and run more cover four during his time in Seattle. And I mean,
I mean,
this isn't to say that he was a Vic Fangio guy, but I mean, we saw the conversations we had about Dayside when he came over from that defense and some of the similarities and some of the stuff he could take from Pete. But
but they got some young guys on the back end. I guess it's kind of a thing where they maybe want to keep it simple.
um, maybe, or maybe that's just who Patrick Graham is. Patrick Graham.
But I've known him to be more aggressive, right?
I
Like even when
mean,
he was with the Giants, he was.
I wouldn't necessarily say aggressive. I mean, I'd say more of he was very adaptative. He did what worked. He understands his personnel. So kind of like you outlined about the youth in the secondary, it's possible. But the reason I don't think that's the case because you look at their amount in cover five and cover two, 15% in cover two, 1% in cover five. It's not like they often in too high. So it's not like they're giving these young guys in the secondary any help. It's just I don't know. They're an odd bunch, but like you said, pretty good against the run. I believe they allowed just 3.9 yards per carry on the season.
Well, not as of late. They've kind of started tailing off.
Yeah, I know. Last week they gave up 4.4 to RJ
Brother, I
Harvey.
no, I got it right here. The Cowboys ran for over 100 yards on them. Chargers ran for almost 200. Broncos ran for 152 yards. So they've kind of, like I said, they've started tailing off against the run. And I think it's like I said, they've been on the field so much.
I mean, when your quarterback is playing arguably the worst football in the league, but I mean, this Raiders team they've allowed 24 points in six of their last seven games, which oddly enough, except last week against Denver, which I like to think is an anomaly. You mentioned how earlier in the season they gave up just 10 points to Denver, so 10 and 17. The divisional matchups always go really wonky. But just in general, this defense that they play is I'm interested to see how Jalen Hurts. I mean, we talked about Jalen Hurts and his struggles against zone coverage. This is probably as basic as you're going to see for the rest of the season, brother. Just understand, read, and react. Understand what you're seeing. Don't think about it too much. Probably, I mean, I'd like to think they won't send much pressure at you, but we've said that a lot of these teams. And for an Eagles team that has been held under 22 points in five consecutive games, they just got to get it going, man. They got to get it going.
Yeah, so this game specifically, weather is expected to be a factor, right? Like I saw earlier, it's expected to be 20-degree temperatures, around 18-degree real feel, 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Expect some snow. So I think for me, looking at this game for the Eagles, with the Raiders' inability to kind of stop the run as of late, and what Saquon was able to do on Monday night, I think it's gonna be a Saquon game, right? Lean on the run. If you look at him, he looked way more efficient Monday night, 122 yards. Of course, it was kind of what's the word? Uh, Added on with the 52-yard touchdown off the tush push fake, but like I said, he looked way more efficient. There were
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
and that's my big thing with the tush push fake. Like I believe he was at over 4 yards of carry today, but if you took the tush push, I mean on that day, but if you took the tush push fake away, it was once again an ordinary day at the office for him. Like
But
that's
but but to play devil's advocate, under center runs, that was where he was most efficient. If you take away the tush push fake, it was 9 carries for 50 yards. That's 5.6 yards per carry, 44.6 success rate. So there were signs of life, I'll say.
listen. I'd love to agree with
Listen,
you,
bro, I'm
brother.
grasping. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm grasping for
Hey,
straw.
I appreciate the effort that you are giving, man. I appreciate the effort. This is you sound like me for 3/4 of the season, and I done got to a point where it's like, look, I'm just here to tell you what these two teams are good and not good at. I'm no longer here to grasp for straws. We are no longer in grasp for straws territory. We haven't quite reached what is it, DEFCON 5 or whatever it will be. We haven't quite reached that yet, but I'm in the business. You got to show me again, brother. I mean, thanks. It worked last week, but I just watched this team go up against a Bears defense that, my goodness, the Bears couldn't swat a fly if it flew into their defensive secondary, and then like we just couldn't do anything, anything. Worse, they stunk against the run. Like it just kind of the only thing giving me a grimace of hope is how often they live in cover three. And Jalen Hurts, while he struggles against zone in particular on the season, cover three has been one of the areas he shined in. It's been that damn cover two, like most seasons that he's continued. Even though, like Partha
But
outlined a couple weeks ago, he had a good game against who was it? Who did they play 2 weeks ago?
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas against their cover two. So
But you know what's interesting, and I've always thought this was kind of strange. He practices against the Vic Fangio defense almost every day of the week, who majors in cover two. So
what?
how is he
Hell no, he doesn't.
the too high
So two,
safety
just
look?
because you in too high doesn't mean you in cover two. Vic Fangio almost never. I won't say never, but if you look at it in percentages, I think the Eagles are like near the bottom of the league or at the bottom of the league in terms of how often they run cover two. That's the one
Well, yeah,
thing that
because they
stands out
disguise a
about.
lot.
Now, even that, even beyond the disguises, like even historically, when you look at a Vic Fangio defense, that's what makes the bastardized joke that we have so funny because you got a lot of them guys who they seriously commit to the too high bit. They cover four, cover six, cover two. Vic ain't really into cover two. But I mean, in general, what you saying, the too high look, I mean, yeah, I think that's why he's successful. And I mean, granted, Jalen Hurts has always been successful against this kind of defense when they've been on the other side of the ball. Even Vic Fangio, when he was in Miami, he was successful against Vic. But I think that's because those the kind of defenses he's seen most often. But even when you think back to Jonathan Gannon and his variation when he was here, Jalen has never, whether it was Vic or Johnny, he's never seen a variation of this defense that committed to the cover two. All of them were always the take the big play away, give up what's in front of you, make tackles, kind of thing.
Yeah. But just in terms of the passing game, and I did go back and kind of watch, and I kind of see what y'all were saying, where they kind of tried to open it up a bit more. I think they did a lot of things that kind of put stress on the defense, like you saw it in terms of like the crossing routes, the play action passing game, design rollouts. Like we talked about, Jalen was extremely aggressive with the intermediate throws and everything like that. And in this game, while like I said, the weather would be a factor, I like to think they'll try and do a bit more of that, just in terms of, like I said, the design rollouts, play action passing game, kind of getting the ball to AJ in space and Smitty and everything. But it's kind of a thing where, like you said, they kind of have to show me they can do this on a consistent basis before I
Yeah,
believe it.
because like I said last part, I think the problem right now with the offense, they've continued, and I've said this week after week. Wow, there are certain things that send him back into his turtle shell, and we like, come on, KP, what the hell is that? You can see the growth in KP as a play caller week after week after week, and I'm curious to know
It's
whether that
it's
was
just
KP last week or if Nick was as hands on as he said he was. But you can see the growth. The problem is, like I mentioned last week, within all the other aspects of coaching, where you calling plays ain't the only part of your job, man. So if you call a good play, but they don't understand the timing of it, or that ain't right, or if you got guys not understanding how the blocking assignment is supposed to be set up, or just flat out missing their blocks, just the little dumb things that continue to set the team back, that also falls back on you guys. I mean, yeah, they got to put the players deserve blame because they're the ones messing up there, but that falls back on you guys, man. These are the little things that Nick Sirianni supposedly is supposed to be harping on that makes the Eagles better than everybody else. Y'all are failing in those parts. So, I mean, that's where I'm kind of where I'm at. And you got to show me. We've already passed step one. I believe you guys can call good plays. I think y'all, like Devonta Smith said, we beating ourselves. I think we do a lot of things that show how good we are against a lot of the league. And then 2 plays later, you're like, what the hell is going on? Why would you do that? It's mind blowing, but that's Philadelphia Eagles football for you.
Yeah, and to me, like, that's where it becomes kind of a coaching thing, because it's like, okay, well, if the timing keeps being off week after week, what are we repping during the week? What are we showing on film? How are we
Yeah,
coaching it?
but
Like,
that's the frustrating part about it. Ideally it is a coaching thing, but then like I brought up on the last pod, the thing about remember a few pods ago when I brought up them running the dagger concept and what it looked like for versus other teams when they ran it. And
yeah,
the one thing that stood out to me about that was Jalen Hurts, and you can tell when Jalen Hurts, he's been a little better over the last week or so in terms of him committing to play fakes and real handoffs. Because at first you could tell a fake handoff versus when he was going to keep the ball on. He did not commit to the play fake as much as you'd like him to on play action, and then he'd be getting his head around quickly. Those are Jalen Hurts things. I don't think those are they sitting here and coaching. Yeah, get your head around as fast as possible because you got to fool the defense. So, I mean, again, 50-50 split. The players deserve some blame. That's why it frustrates me because I
when
can't
everybody
really
when
lay a
when everybody
finger
tries to put it on one person.
right because I can't really personally lay a finger on whether it's coaching or if this
Mhm.
guy's just this what he does. This is they got to figure out a way to work around that or change that or something, coach that up. But it's ultimately it's always gonna come down to coaching at the end of the day because this is your job. This is you supposed to help the players develop and improve. But like I've been yelling and will continue to yell, y'all got to help each other.
Yeah, it's a thing where it's like your one job as a coach is to put your players in positions to succeed. You do that by coaching it, coaching the fundamentals, the technique, the mechanics, all of that. You do that by play calling, formation groups, personnel, everything like that. And so that's why for me, if it continues to be an issue week after week, it becomes a thing where again, it's like, what are we doing during the week? Why is the timing so bad?
It's I mean, like I say all the time during the off season, especially, I mean, shout out to friend of the pod, ESP, and his training camp stats and all that stuff. All that stuff is cool and it's not good to be knowledgeable as to how the quarterback is performing in camp. But all this stuff is so much easier when you're in a controlled environment. But when the bullets
Mhm.
start being live,
And defenses start actively adjusting to what you're doing.
it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah. But let's switch gears here to this Raiders offense, which I do not want to talk about because they stink so bad. But they're one of the least efficient,
Free Chip Kelly.
least least efficient, least productive units in the league.
Hey,
31st in the
hey,
league, and
hey. A lot of that was pre-chip. I mean, was chip era. My man, Greg Olson. Gosh, how many Greg Olsons are there in the world? I just thought it was one, and then this guy just keeps popping back up every time. But my guy, Greg Olson got the passing game. Well, it
he's
ain't lit.
trying.
Yeah,
He's
he got the
trying.
receivers looking with a heartbeat again.
Yeah. But just statistically, 31st in the league in yards per game, last in rushing offense, last in points per game at 15, last in EPA per play, 30th in success rate, 29th in EPA per pass, 32nd in EPA per run. And you alluded to it, but they fired Chip Kelly earlier this season, kind of because of, like I just alluded to, a lot of the, efficiency issues that they had. And like you said, it's kind of improved, sort of, but it's still really bad. Like Geno Smith has still been playing like one of the worst
Oh,
quarterbacks in the
that's
league.
that's that's been a Geno thing. It's truly been a Geno thing. At first, I mean, yeah, my dog Chip, he deserves some blame, and it was looking bad. It was looking bad.
Didn't they
But
say he was calling
man, look,
plays that they hadn't installed?
yes, I did hear that. I also
Hey,
heard a lot
bro,
of things about Pete
wait.
Carroll and just how he was operating, about how the offense should be. I don't know. It was real
Imagine,
odd, real
bro.
odd.
Imagine being in the huddle and Chip called a play, and you look at the sideline. You like, hey, bro, what is this?
Man, bro, y'all practiced this last week. Come on, y'all know what to do. Do it again. Do it again. Nah, but
That's your dog, man.
look, sorry, he about to take that offensive coordinator job at Georgia Tech, and we back up. But yeah, man, this Raiders offense, it's woof, to say the least. I
Like I
mean,
didn't I didn't even get into the O line, bro. They are bad.
they try. I was actually about to get into that. They try. They actually started the season off pretty good, but ever since Colton Miller got hurt in Week 5, the Raiders have had the second worst pass blocking grade in the league. I think they've allowed a league high 50 sacks. My goodness, 50
40
sacks.
40.5% pressure rate. And
Like, brother.
Like you said, Colton Miller, he's legit. He legit was the saving grace. Like he ranked fourth among all starting tackles in terms of PFF in their whole grading system. Everybody else, hashtag not good.
With Cooper the Gene. Like, no, it's not working. It is not working on the offensive line, at least. But in terms of how they play offense, you can see some of the effort, to say the least, of how they try to get things done offensively. I mean, when you talk about this Raiders offense, they rarely seldomly attach motion. I mean, sometimes I believe the number is at 47%, or you can round it up to 48. It was 47.7. But 48% of how often they utilize motion. They utilize play action on just 16%. So there's none of that. It's a whole lot of what you see is what you saw, man. And then they live in the shotgun. That's
Which
the
is
most
this
mind blowing thing about it.
Yeah, like their whole offense is mind blowing because it's like they run 11 personnel as their primary personnel grouping, but it's like you said, it's puzzling because you would think you have Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Ashton Genty. You live in 12 personnel. Like
Look,
I don't understand it.
I mean, 2 year
Especially
defense. They do. They
after they
kind of do.
traded
They kind of do.
Jacoby Myers. I'm like, why are we not doing
They
more of
they've
this?
trended towards that more so lately. I mean, even on the season, that 11 personnel that you alluded to, that was much higher prior to the Jacoby Myers trade. Now it's just down to 57% on the year compared to their cover to their 12 personnel. It's at 35%. So they've tried to commit to the bit. At the same time, it's like nobody's falling for what you're doing. Can't run the ball. Offensive line isn't, and I feel so bad for Ashton Genty. Like,
Bruh.
we talk about Saquon Barkley and his lack of success running the ball. I said the stat earlier in the year, well, a couple weeks ago actually. Saquon Barkley is near or at the bottom of the league in terms of yards before contact. The only thing saving him from being at the bottom of the league is because Ashton Genty exists. Because as soon as the balls get snapped, it's three or four guys in his face, and he's just trying to do something. And it's cool. They've tried creative ways to try to get him the ball. All
Outside
like they've
zone.
outside zone. They've started throwing him. He's had games where he's had like 6, 7 targets. Like they're just trying to get him the ball. They're just trying to get him the football in any way, shape, or form that they can. Man, they've really committed to the bit. Just let me get my best players involved, kind of thing. And Ashton has taken on a bigger role in that scenario. Now, again, it's really hard when nobody fears your weapons. I appreciate your weapons, especially as an NFL draft guy. It was cool to see Jack Batch come off his career high 50 yards, 6 targets, 6 receptions. Trying. It's cool to see Trey Tucker get the opportunities that he deserved that he didn't get when Jacoby Myers was healthy, for lack of a better term. Because when Jacoby Myers was hurt, he showed himself up to be a dude, man. So to see him get all these talk, like they're actively trying. But to be completely honest with you, it's Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers, Ashton Bowers, Brock Genty, Brock Bowers. That's
Yeah,
about it.
I think they're just limited from a talent and kind of personnel perspective, right? Like they don't have the facilities.
Like
But
not even like
you
we use that joke a lot, but this is truly the game where it's like, brother, I actively feel bad for you. Like they
yeah,
2-11, dude.
but they lost 11 of 12 games.
Dude, like my goodness.
But you talked about Ashton Genty and kind of his lack of production and the reasons why, and it kind of put me in the mind of the conversations that me and you have all the time, where we talk about fit and kind of the draft prospects and the situations that they go to, and it's one where like he was flat out dominant at Boise State, like
But
dominant,
it
a
was one of
Heisman
them weird
finalist.
things because he was dominant in a similar light. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Boise State's offensive line. They were okay based on the competition that they played. But every time they played higher up competition, he was in a similar situation as he's in now. It's just he was so good. Hash marks were wider, so it was easier to get to the outside. But he's so good that yeah, it was kind of like Saquon esque, where you can deal with the negative 2 yard run, 2 yard run, 1 yard run, 1 yard run, because eventually he was going to get 60. And that's kind of how they're trying to live here, where I mean, it hasn't worked the way that they would like to do as often as they'd like it to, but the commitment to the bit has been very impressive. I mean, I don't want to say you have to because you don't want to put all the wear and tear on him before you get your football team to the point that you needed to be in terms of team building, where he's actually
But
a
that's where,
valuable asset. But
but that's
look, you gotta get your best players the ball, brother.
And I feel that, but that's where to me it raises the question of if you didn't have the roster to, support drafting a running back top 10 overall, why would you draft a
It
running
comes
back top
down
10
to belief in
overall?
the room, man. Yeah,
I
you can
get
say
it.
that they didn't have the roster, but Pete Carroll said from the start he didn't come here to rebuild. He's trying to compete. That's why they went and acquired Geno. They could have drafted a quarterback or traded up for a quarterback. I think I had them trying to trade up for a quarterback in the last 2 years. I've done mock drafts. They need to go get a quarterback, but I mean, he said that's not what I'm trying. I'm trying to win, and how I'm gonna win? I'm gonna go get a running back that I know I can win with, whether my line is good or not, because he can get the dirty yards. I get a quarterback I believe in, and we build a quality defense, which I
But
mean, still working on that. But
trying to win what? You're not gonna win a Super Bowl, brother.
listen, man, I ain't saying his thought process is correct, especially in that division. Like, come on, man, it's not like you play in the NFC South, brother. You're in a division with Pat Mahomes, who even in the year that Pat Mahomes is having the worst year of his career, the number one seed or the number two seed in the AFC is now the Denver Broncos. Like, there's no winning for you. There was never any winning for you. Then you got the Chargers right up there. Like, come on, man, go hire a coach that was going to commit to a team rebuild, and getting this to y'all could have been in a position to draft Fernando Mendoza
Yep.
or Dante Moore or something. And now y'all just sitting here like middling
That's that's my QB1. Also, I don't think I told you before this, but that's my QB1.
with Fernando Mendoza.
No, Dante.
Dante Moore, welcome to the
Yeah,
fan club, buddy.
I love Dante Moore. I watched him play for the first time. What was that? Maybe 3 weeks ago, and then I saw him again. Was that I think last week or week before last? Big fan, big fan.
Welcome to the fan club, buddy. I'm not, you know me, I'm not ready to commit to anything yet. But early process, I think he'll be my quarterback one. I think.
But keeping kind of the topic on quarterbacks, like we talked about at the top of the pod, Kenny Pickett is starting this week. It'll be like I
The
said, a hello
original
to an
KP.
be a hello to an old friend. Kenny Pickett was, of course, the backup quarterback last year for the Eagles. Took a snap in the Super Bowl, has a Super Bowl ring. But Mr. Two Gloves, I don't think you have the facilities to be competitive in this game, bro. Number
He
one, you
looked
look at the
good when he
way
came in last game, man.
that's cool. That's cool. He ain't played
Against
this
the top
Eagles.
tier Broncos defense.
That's cool. That was like you said. That was a divisional game. That wasn't the final score 10-7,
Broncos had 17.
17 to what 7.
I think so.
Again, divisional game. Again, I don't think you got the facilities to be competitive against this defensive front, man. You look at the way they played Monday night against the Chargers. They flat out overwhelmed their O line, and for all intents and purposes, I don't know if it's a stretch to say, but the Chargers O line probably has been better than the Raiders
Even though
offensive
with
line.
all the injuries that the Chargers O-line had, like, brother, they was trotting out fourth string tackles.
Statistically, the Raiders have been worse. They've given up the most sacks in the league.
I mean, yeah, 50. It's a lot of sacks.
So a lot of
Think about it
sacks.
like that year where the Eagles was 2022. The Eagles had like what 72 sacks or something like that. It took them up to the damn near the end of the season to get there. We got like 5 weeks left, and they got 50. Can they give up 20 sacks in 5 weeks?
If anybody can do it, they probably can. But yeah, you look at also the weather, man. Like I don't think Kenny is gonna have a good day at all. It's supposed to be like freezing cold. He already wears 2 gloves.
If he played in Pittsburgh, he's built for this. He's a Pittsburgh boy, born and raised, college,
I don't I don't
professional,
trust
NFL.
I
Went
don't
from
trust two
Pittsburgh
gloves.
to Philadelphia. Just because my man playing Vegas now don't mean he getting cute.
He puts me in the mind of like dollar store brand Jared Goff.
Oh, I mean, I can see why you would say that, especially with the gloves.
Yeah.
But I
The
can see
kind of
why you would say
frail,
that.
the frail body.
I'm just glad this game's at 1 o'clock first and foremost.
Yeah.
My goodness, I have been sick of being embarrassed in front of everybody. Hopefully, y'all look good in front of nobody, so we can be like, look at our team when nobody's watching our team. But my kind of like you outlined, man. I had to make it look and sound good because we got a podcast to produce and things of that nature. This Raiders team, this Raiders offense,
You stink.
it's bad.
They
Like
stink.
the defense was actually fun to watch. It was boring, but it was fun because playing hard, what you see is what you're gonna get. Like they actively can make life tough on you if you allow them to. But the offense, my goodness, that was brutal to watch, man. It was brutal to watch. I started scrolling. Me and Shamar started playing patty cake. I'm like, dog, this is bad right now. Like, this is bad. And I mean, again, Greg Olsen has tried to do some really fun things fundamentally. It's just the guys. You don't have the guys, man. It's as an NFL draft guy, it's fun to watch those guys out there compete, get targets, because these are guys you scouted, you rooted for, you actually see them doing well. It's fun. But in terms of the gist of an NFL matchup and how these two teams match up, like, don't get me wrong, the Eagles lost 3 games in a row. Like you said on the podcast last week, it's wildly in the possibilities that they can lose this game. After going through the scouting process of it, or not scouting, after going through the whole process of reviewing this game and previewing it, that went from the prospects went from, it's probably about a 42% chance that they could lose the game when we were having that last conversation to, It's probably about 16 now. Think we're okay. It's still around with possibilities, but I think we're okay. Just keep your guard up, guys. Keep your
Yeah,
guard up.
I think this game comes at kind of the perfect time for this Eagles team, right? Like offensively, they've been struggling. They haven't really put together a game since before the bye week. Especially how Monday went, all the turnovers, and the week has been with all the noise about Tanner McKee and this and that and all of that. This game comes at a good time for them, man. Like
My
it's
man, he needs to have his Nick Foles game.
yeah, it's a get right game.
The 7 touchdowns, everybody looking flashy. I don't care. I
Style
don't care.
points. It's an
Yeah,
ESP style game, brother.
it
Style
has
points.
to be. This is for morale at this point, man. Like they look bad. And
And
I'm
they took
all
the
highly prepared for everybody to be like, but it is against the Raiders. Oh, these. Oh, these.
they
It's
took the
okay.
they took the positivity bunny out of the locker room this week.
Yeah, man. My man died
And
after
I didn't
4
know
days.
I didn't know AJ Dillon was responsible for that.
I thought it was the offensive line.
No, it was AJ Dillon.
I mean, I guess
Why is he
you know
still
what?
on
I
the
did.
team?
I did hear that. I heard somebody say that they was basically like, I mean, he got to make himself useful while he not playing and all this
What?
stuff, and that was, I just completely forgot. I don't know what made me just chalk it up to the offensive line. I guess because they were so Holly Joe about it. But
But why is AJ Dillon still on this football team? He hasn't gotten a carry in like 5 weeks. It's the Rashad Penny uh thing all
no,
over
it's
again.
not even Rashad Penny. He earned his pay keep. My man AJ Dillon cannot take another snap for the rest of the season. He already earned more pay keep than Rashad Penny did, buddy. Rashad Penny did he play in one game? It might have been
I think
one
he played
game,
in one game. One
and boy
game.
was like, "Yeah, PTO back reloaded, right? Just needed to fulfill my obligation." Like that was bad. Like I mean, he looked. I can understand. He's in a tough spot right now because teams keep cutting good young running backs. Like I think the straw that would have broke his back, and it's kind of cool that he's still here. But we did put a claim in for Damian Pierce. He just ended up in Kansas City. But
Yeah.
Howie has been trying to acquire young good backs all season,
He
from
traded
Tank
a he
to
traded a fifth round pick for Tank Bigsby.
right. I'm about to say from Tank, put in a waiver for Damian Pierce. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. But hey, good to see him trying to find some keep. Hopefully, he can find it a good home.
Okay, let's get into matchups to watch. You can go first.
All right, my matchup to watch. What side of the ball you want to start on? Guess I'll start on the Eagles offense versus the Raiders defense. My matchup to watch is both of these guys on the injury report this week. Max Crosby, hopefully, well, he's going to play. He knows he's going to play. But Max Crosby been on the injury report, didn't practice first day, limited practice the second day. You got Fred Johnson on an injury report with an ankle. I was highly excited about the prospects of what could be about Jordan Mailata against Max Crosby. Then I realized that Max Crosby almost takes all of his snaps across from the right tackle. So, and there's no Lane Johnson, which makes sense. Once I heard that, I was like, oh, it makes sense why they were trying to ramp him up a bit this week. Didn't they probably more likely we see him next week. I think Lane's back next week against the Commanders, but they tried to ramp him up. It just didn't work. And it makes sense because when you say what you just say there, but hey, man, Max Crosby, 9 sacks on the season. He has at least 1 sack in 3 of his last 4 games. We got to have a game plan. And I mean, I heard somebody else mention it just like this. And when they was talking about it, I was like, damn it, brother, you're right. You're right. Burn the ships at this point. Burn them. Because, like, it's been almost a decade since the Eagles had to go into a game where somebody was lined up over the right tackle. And they're like, yeah, so we got to come up with a game plan to help our right tackle. They've matched up with Lane Johnson. They've matched up with almost anybody that you can to say. And they've been okay. They leave their tackles on islands more than anybody because you have those two guys. And now you're in a situation with Fred Johnson. I'm like Fred Johnson said, Lane Johnson got a household name. Fred Johnson just trying to make a name. I don't think this is the matchup you're gonna make a name for yourself against Buddy, which you can try. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. And I wish we would have went Eagles defense, Raiders offense first, but my matchup to watch for the Eagles offense versus Raiders defense. Again, we've outlined how kind of, for lack of a better term, piss poor this Raiders team is. My matchup to watch for the Eagles offense: Jalen Hurts versus the Spirit of Doubt. Monday night, Jalen Hurts had the worst performance of his.
Hey, Parth. I might be on your side today, brother. What the hell was that? Jalen Hurts versus the Spirit of Doubt.
Yeah.
Do you know who you're talking about? This is Jalen Alexander Hurts.
Yeah. Oh, you ain't let me finish. You ain't let me finish. You did not let me fit. Let me get him a bag, man. Let me get him a bag.
Go ahead.
And I've started writing out these, so you kind of get the pen back moving type thing.
Slow but sure.
Again, yeah. Last week, Jalen Hurts had the worst performance of his NFL career by a long shot. He was erratic, put the ball in harm's way, wasn't efficient. It was kind of like a flashback to 2018. He was benched in the national championship. Since Monday night, the noise has been deafening. The calls for Tanner McKee have reached a fever pitch. Nick Sirianni was asked during his WIP hit about it, and he called it ridiculous. I personally think it's plain stupid, but that's neither here nor there. But it takes me back to an interview from Jalen from 2019 when he sat down with Tom Rinaldi of ESPN, and he talked about his journey from being benched in the national championship to transferring to Oklahoma, and the sort of unprecedentedness, I guess I said that right, of his journey. And he said the thing that stuck with him most throughout his entire collegiate career was being benched, right? Throughout all the awards, the wins, the accolades, everything like that, being benched was the thing he remembered the most. Even after he won the Super Bowl, he brought up that same situation and talked about, again, how unprecedented his journey has been. And I bring that all up to say, the question you just asked me, Q, have we forgotten who Jalen Hurts is? Have we forgotten how this guy is wired? Like when he's doubted, when his back is against the wall, when he's told he can't do something, when he has an embarrassing performance like he did Monday night. Like, have we forgotten how he'll respond? When everything goes wrong, he's talked about it a ton. The thrill he finds in being doubted, everything like that. So I ask again, have we forgotten who Jalen Hurts is? I have not. I got the hoodie on. I'm back.
I mean, that was dope. Still, Jalen Hurts versus the Spirit of Doubt. You could have came up with a better name than that, man. You got me over here ready to flip some bull ass.
Like, it's not Spirit of Doubt from himself. It's not in himself. It's from the outside.
I hear that. I get what you're saying, but I guess it only frustrates me because it's like Jalen Hurts don't give a damn about what these people talk about.
Of course he don't.
Hear it, but he don't give a damn about this.
That's the point.
Like, the same dude looked at the TV before the Super Bowl, nodded his head, and kept walking by. Like Jalen Alexander Hurts, man. Y'all must not know Jalen Hurts the way I know Jalen Hurts. Like, but that's another conversation. All right, to the other side of the ball. You go first, man.
It's pretty simple. Eagles edge group, Raiders tackle group. We've outlined, all throughout this pod how horrible Raiders offensive line is. They're giving up the most sacks in the league. The Eagles defensive line is playing very, very good football. They sacked Justin Herbert 7 times on Monday. They made his life a literal living hell. Kenny Pickett is starting. It's going to be cold. I expect this Eagles defensive line to do much of the same.
I'm going to do like you did last week and stay 10 toes down and not pivot off my shivers. And I'm going to say the exact same thing because that's what I had written down. Eagles edge group against this Raiders offensive line. We talked about the Raiders struggles. I mentioned Colton Miller and how good he was for this team before he got hurt in week 5. And now they have the second worst pass blocking grade in the league. League high in sacks, can't block for the run, can't protect for the quarterback. And now they are matched up against the Eagles front that the best part about this is since week 10, Do anybody know what happened in week 10? I forgot. I can't remember. I can't remember. Oh, that's when we really got things ramped up with a certain somebody hitting the defensive line. But since week 10, the Eagles have the second best pass rush grade. This via PFF, of course, for you guys. The second best pass rush grade in football. They're fourth in pressure rate. They're fourth in sacks. They're sixth in pass rush win rate. And they get the chance to go against this Raiders offensive line. I mean, I think that it kind of all speaks for itself at this point. Go sack the quarterback. I mean, they had 7 sacks last week on Justin Herbert. This is the team that usually they the 2 sack birds. They get pressure, but they gonna get their 2 a game. I mean, coming off 7 last week, and then this offensive line in the dock, it might be an opportunity to get loaded up before the playoffs, man. I mean, continue to play our style of football. This last year, it was the turnovers for this defense where, I mean, they were always a good defense, but late in the year, the turnovers really started to kick in for them. Maybe it's the sacks now for this version of the defense, where they were always a quality defense, but late in the year, it can be the type of group that's bringing down quarterbacks 4 or 5 times a game.
All right, let's get into predictions. I'll go first. I do not think this game is going to be close. I don't think the Raiders have the facilities to make it a close game. I'm going to go Eagles 28, Raiders 7.
I'm back to my mathematics. Like I said, the Raiders have allowed 24 points in 6 of their last 7 games, with the exception of last week against Denver, which the fact that's a divisional game was giving me hope, because that was kind of heartbreaking. Like, oh, no, 17 by Denver. But then you said they only scored 10 the first time. So I'm like, oh, well, they did better then. Okay, cool. This Eagles offense, though, has scored 22 or less points or under 22 points in 5 consecutive games. Can you give me 23? Can you give me? I'm not asking you for much. I'm not asking you to do this all year. I am. I'm not asking you to do this against the best defense in football. I'm just asking for 23. Can you give me 23? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Philadelphia Eagles defense. Because the offense, they still work in progress. But I think we can get a pick 6, a sack fumble, something in there. Can you get me to 23, Philadelphia? That's the goal. Birds, 21. Raiders 6.
Damn, so you don't even think they get a touchdown?
No, not against this defense. No, they got stuff.
I gave them.
They get.
I gave them. I gave them.
You know what? I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back.
No, don't take it back. Don't take it back. Don't take it back.
Hear me out. I do think they get a touchdown, but I think the touchdown happens so late that you kind of try to go for 2, and it don't work. So you just stuck with the 6. But yeah,
they don't have much to look forward to in Las Vegas. It's just very. I don't being a fan of a team like that.
Ashton Genty will get his touchdown, you guys. That's just about it.
Being a fan of a team like that, it has to be like, what do you have to look forward to?
Are you really asking me?
I mean, we would know. We would know, but
I know what I have to look forward to. Hell, my team is 8-5, and I'm looking forward to it. What do you mean? Like, I mean, not in the worst way. I mean, of course, I want to win a Super Bowl, but like, you see, this draft class is pretty enticing, man. And if you got to pick at the top of it, you 2-11. The Raiders and the team in front of you are the New York Giants, who can never seem to hold on to the number 1 pick when they got it to save their life. They got a Commanders game coming up with a backup quarterback. The Giants gonna beat the brakes off them boys, and they fans gonna be like, "Yeah!" And the ESPN gonna be like, "And the Giants fall to the 3rd pick," and they be like, "No, what just happened?"
Oh man. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Appreciate all 73 of you who tapped into the pod. As always, if you're listening after the stream on whichever podcast streaming platform you're listening on, be sure to leave us a like and a review. Rate us 5 stars. All that. Shout out to the good folks at 14th and Market.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, bro?
Go Birds.
Go
Always
Birds.
go Birds. Always go Birds. Please, please don't embarrass me this week.
Dear God, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Just play smart. Just
I promise you,
execute.
I will come on the field. I mean, not on the field. I might if y'all lose this game, to be honest. But I promise you, I will come on the pod with the most positive attitude in the world. I don't care if y'all won 6-10. Just win the game. Y'all ain't won a game in almost a month. Mariah Carey is begging. All she say, all I want for Christmas is you. All I want for Christmas is you to win a game, brother. That's it. Please.
But okay, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you everybody for tapping in. Go Birds.
Go Birds.